Managing post-harvest diseases requires preventative approaches during harvest, packing, and storage. Post-harvest losses constitute about 25 to 50% of yield losses at and after harvest. Soft, perishable fruit is easily damaged by wounding, bruising, and sun scald, and even rot pathogens that can easily enter. In fields, coolers, and even customers' refrigerators, produce can develop molds, rots, and other decay. Post-harvest losses can occur or be initiated before, during, and after harvest. That means in fields, packing sheds, coolers, and even in transport trucks. So let's begin with field infection. In the field, produce can become infected with disease-causing pathogens, from leaf diseases to fruit rots. Sometimes we see those direct losses and discard the produce immediately. However, latent infections, or infections that are yet to cause disease symptoms, can make their way into harvest bins, and disease can develop in storage. Some common field infections include botrytis gray mold, bacterial soft rot, and fusarium fruit rot. Disease management in the field should be a season-long consideration. Prevent diseases by using a combination of cultural practices and fungicides, from early season to harvest. These management practices will differ with each crop and for each farm. Damaged and diseased produce should be removed from fields as soon as symptoms develop. This prevents disease spread. When harvesting, pick all ripe fruit, separating marketable products from the non-marketable. This practice is called clean pick. Never leave produce in the field or on the ground. It is rare that fungicides are warranted after harvest, especially for small operations. Infection can also occur during harvest and handling. Damage to produce, especially soft fruits, can occur during harvest and handling. Wounds, bruises, desiccation, sun scald, and heat can all create openings for pathogens to enter. This damage may be visible or small enough to be overlooked. But once fungi and bacteria enter fruit, flower, or leaf tissue, they begin to multiply. And these microbes can be pathogenic or saprophytic, meaning they can cause disease or they can colonize any damaged or overripe fruit. But in all cases, the infections are latent and symptoms are delayed for days or weeks. We discover these rots and molds in the cooler or when packing boxes are opened. Management of diseases induced during harvest and handling includes minimizing damage and avoiding cross-contamination. Handle all produce carefully, avoiding heat and sun. Cool produce as soon as possible. Even shade is hot enough to cause desiccation in most cases. Raise bins off the ground during harvest to prevent soil and debris from contacting the produce. Always sanitize bins and boxes before and after harvest to ensure that cross-contamination does not occur. Most produce is stored directly in the cooler, but on occasion, muddy or dirty produce is washed before storage. Diseases can also occur in storage. Sometimes pathogens enter in fields as previously discussed, but sometimes they're present in coolers or in bins and crates. Pathogens require wet conditions and moderate temperatures to infect, multiply, and cause disease. Coolers with high humidity and wet surfaces provide enough moisture for disease development. Thermostats set too high also provide ideal conditions for pathogens to cause disease. Unsanitary surfaces and equipment, such as contaminated produce, provide the inoculum for infection to occur. Storage diseases can be prevented by keeping produce cool and dry. As previously mentioned, produce should not be damaged. Keep cooler settings as low as possible for the type of produce being stored, and maintain humidity levels appropriate for that type of produce. Maintain ventilation by spacing and organizing. Separate all bins and boxes by crop type, date, and field so that you can easily remove damaged lots if needed. Follow strict sanitation by keeping all surfaces clean and sanitized and by removing contaminated produce often. Prevent post-harvest disease by knowing the most common diseases found in your crops as well as those found in storage. Train employees to identify diseases as well as to prevent damage to produce and cross-contamination during harvest and packing. To prevent harvest and post-harvest losses, maintain a preventative disease management plan in the field, during harvest, and in storage. Additional resources can be found on the University of Kentucky Department of Plant Pathology's webpage. Links are included in the description below.